They called it 1800 and froze to death. In the summer of 1816, the sun rose as a pale, sickly ghost in a sky choked with violet dust. While the rest of the world looked for God, the farmers of Vermont looked for warmth in the ashes of their own hopes. This is not a ghost story of spirits, but a ghost story of a planet that forgot how to breathe, and the Americans who refused to die with it. Chapter 1. The Ash-Colored Dawn. The morning of June 6, 1816, did not begin with the song of birds, but with the brittle snap of frozen corn stalks. Elias Thorne stood on the porch of his homestead in the Green Mountains of Vermont, his breath blooming in a thick white cloud. He was 24, a man built of sinew and stubbornness. But as he looked at his fields, he felt a hollow chill that had nothing to do with the temperature. Yesterday, he had been sweating in the humidity of a typical New England spring. Today, the thermometer nailed to the barn door read 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Behind him, the door creaked open. Sarah, his wife, wrapped in 3 woolen shawls, stared at the sight. The ground was covered in 5 inches of dry, grayish snow. "Elias," she whispered, her voice trembling, "it's nearly noon. Why is the sky still purple?" She was right. The sun was a dim copper coin struggling to pierce a high-altitude haze. They didn't know it then. No one in the United States did. But half a world away, a mountain called Mount Tambora had exploded the previous year. It had vomited 100 cubic kilometers of ash and sulfur into the stratosphere, wrapping the earth in a funeral shroud that blocked the sun's warmth. "Get the sheep into the kitchen," Elias barked, snapping out of his daze. "If the wool freezes to their skin, we lose the flock. If we lose the flock, we don't see 1817. The Great Migration of Despair. By July, the summer had become a nightmare. Across Massachusetts, New York, and Pennsylvania, the crops had failed 3 times over. Every time a seedling dared to peek through the soil, a fresh frost arrived to strangle it. The story follows Elias and a band of desperate settlers as they realize the East Coast is dying. Rumors begin to swirl, whispers of a western fire. They say that beyond the Ohio River, the sun still shines. They say the ash hasn't reached the valley of the frontier. Driven by hunger, Elias, Sarah, and a disgraced doctor named Julian Vance form a wagon train. This wasn't the triumphant westward expansion taught in history books. This was a trail of refugees fleeing a climate apocalypse. The Information Corps, the science of the dark. As they travel, the narrative weaves in the historical reality of the era. The hunger. People were reduced to eating boiled nettles, hedgehogs, and old moss. The price of oats skyrocketed from 12 cents to 92 cents a bushel. The social collapse. Churches were packed with people convinced the apocalypse had arrived. Riots broke out in the grain markets of Albany. The literary echo. While Elias fought the frost, across the Atlantic, Mary Shelley was trapped indoors by the same volcanic gloom at Lake Geneva, writing Frankenstein. The darkness was global. The conflict, the Icemen. The primary antagonists aren't just the weather, but a group of opportunistic land speculators led by a man named Silas Vane. Vane uses the end times panic to buy up ruined farms for pennies, creating a private empire of the starving. The climax occurs in the wilderness of the Ohio Territory. Elias's group is trapped by an early August blizzard. They have to decide, do they consume their remaining seed corn to survive the night, or do they starve to ensure they can plant if the sun ever returns?